Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a man is arrested and charged with murder in Thursday's deadly stabbing. Plus, just in time for Veterans Day, a memorial wall arrives in Victoria to honor veterans. And Governor Abbott talks about how funding for border security could change under President-elect Trump.
We are looking at a nice cold front producing heavy weather up north. We're not going to get much of that, but we will get a few little showers overnight. And then tomorrow will be a lot sooner. We'll have all that coming up in just a moment.
And the Bay City Black Cats, they battle the Calhoun Sand Crabs here tonight for the district title. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie. Don Brubaker is on assignment tonight. A man is in jail in connection to a fatal stabbing at a Victoria motel. Police arrested 31-year-old Adrian Bearfield a few blocks away from the American Inn and Suites on Houston Highway shortly after a man was found stabbed at the motel. Police say Bearfield and the victim, 25-year-old Zachary Manuel, got into an altercation when a weapon was used. A $750,000 bond has been set for Bearfield. Authorities have arrested a Victoria man in connection with his fiance's death last month near Edna. Jackson County officials confirm 39-year-old Jose Miguel Salazar is in custody, accused in the death of 24-year-old Jasmine Ramirez. The incident happened on October 17th along Highway 59. Salazar was booked into the Jackson County Jail that same day. The details surrounding Ramirez's death, though, are still under investigation, and authorities have yet to release further information on what led to the incident. The investigation remains ongoing. The Seadrift City Council is considering doing away with its animal control department. That's one of several agenda items on the agenda for the upcoming meeting on Tuesday, November 12th. According to the agenda, the city is considering temporarily suspending animal control services. Alderman Paul Gonzalez will be leading that discussion. In our viewer poll today, we want to know what animal issue should be the top priority for a city, whether that's expanding spay and neuter programs, increased funding, strengthening animal control efforts, or enhancing animal cruelty prevention. And the majority and a little over half of our voters feel that expanding a spay and neuter program should be the priority for animal services in cities. We want to continue hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote or scan the QR code there on your screen, and we'll have the latest results on 25 News Now at 10. Well, the Victoria ISD will have to wait for more state funding or other funding sources for employee pay increases. A voter approval tax rate election, or VATRE, was voted down at the polls on Election Day. There were 13,000 voters in favor, 15,000 who said no. The district had planned to use the additional revenue for employee pay increases. This was a year-long process by the district to make Victoria ISD more competitive with other districts.
Well, we're in a very competitive field, and we have to bring in teachers from other areas of Texas to Victoria to educate Victoria's 13,000 students.
Meyer says there will be no new funding sources for public schools and that the state legislature will go into session in January. Well, it's Friday. A lot of you will be heading out to the football games tonight. So let's check in with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez with a look outside. Mac.
You bet. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We're looking at some stormy weather up in North Texas. You see this right here? This is a tornado watch for this evening. However, it's a long way from our area. We're looking at just a few sprinkles that are out there occurring right about now, but this is where the big stuff's going to be happening tonight. Now, that front will move through here and will defeat the tropical storm named Rafael. All that coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
Thanks, Mac. Just in time for Veterans Day, a Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall replica is on display in Victoria. The memorial wall is an 80% replica of the original monument in Washington, D.C. It displays the names of more than 58,000 Americans who died in the Vietnam War. The wall will be on display at the Field of Honor on John Stockbauer next to Parkway Church until Tuesday before going to its next location.
So it's special that we brought it here and then they get to visit it, and veterans from all over, Vietnam veterans from all over will come here and view the wall, and some of them will see their buddies' names on the wall. So that makes it really special.
And next to that Vietnam Veterans Memorial, there are more than 2,400 flags on display. For more information on the different color bows that you see on those flags and to see the Vietnam Memorial, visit the site near the intersection of John Stockbauer Drive and Salem Road. Well, Governor Greg Abbott is ramping up border security with Operation Lone Star, which has cut illegal crossings into Texas over 86%. About 2,500 migrants from multiple countries, though, are making their way through southern Mexico, hoping to reach the U.S. border. Abbott shared photos on X of Texas National Guard soldiers preparing drones for border surveillance. And with $2.9 billion allocated to Operation Lone Star, Abbott is addressing how funding might change under President-elect Trump.
So we're going to be waiting to see, just like I was explaining to you, it's going to be a process for President Trump to be able to get his border and immigration reforms in place. We have to be a stopgap effort as it takes him time to get that in place. But I've had private talks with the president, and he's going to be stronger and better at securing the border than he was in his first term, which was very strong and effective. He already knows the levers to pull. He's going to be very effective at it because President Trump will provide a more secure border than any president in the history of the United States of America. That means that Texas will have the opportunity to consider repurposing that money for other purposes. It could be for education, could be for property tax cuts, sending it back to the people of the state of Texas.
President-elect Trump has vowed to deport close to 11 million people estimated to be in the country illegally. Well, Starr County in South Texas is the most Hispanic county in the U.S., making history by voting Republican in the 2024 election, the first time in over a century. With over 95% of the votes counted, Trump led with 58%. Local Trump supporters felt that Democrats took the Latino vote for granted, and Trump's straightforward, business-minded approach resonated with the community. Starr County Republicans organized Trump trains parading through town in support and noticed strong positive reactions, marking a big shift for the area. Now to the urgent investigation into who's behind a series of racist text messages to people around the country in recent days following the election, telling them that they've been selected to pick cotton. ABC's Morgan Norwood is following the latest developments.
The wave of racist texts raising alarm across multiple states, with federal authorities racing to find the source. Officials in more than a dozen states say residents, including children, received text messages from unknown numbers telling them they've been selected to pick cotton. Rhonda Nevin sharing the message her teenage son received in Durham, North Carolina, a day after the election.
It said, "Good evening," his first and last name. "You and your family have been selected to stay at the Stagville Plantation on December the 8th.
A similar message for Sam Burwell in Virginia. He was shocked the unknown sender knew his name.
First text I saw was somebody texting me, greeting me, first of all, greetings, and we will be there to pick you up for a cotton field.
Law enforcement, including the FBI, now investigating, so far believing some of the racist messages can be traced back to an anonymous web address in Poland, but the original source still a mystery. That's according to the Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill, who says her cyber team discovered the connection. She posted this video to X.
We have no way of knowing where the individual is who's actually sending the emails, but we will continue to investigate it. Don't click on it, delete it. And if you wish, you can report it to my office.
The FBI says it is investigating. They'd like to determine whether this is a foreign source that's sending these or some kind of domestic source, whether it's a prank or something more sinister.
Some of those messages sent from TextNow, a free calling and texting app. The company condemning the text messages and saying those accounts were quickly disabled, adding, "We're working with partners in law enforcement cooperatively to investigate this attack." And as for those racist texts, they've been reported in more than a dozen states. New York's Attorney General says some of the texts targeted children as young as middle school aged. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, New York.
A portion of Farm to Market Road 3131 in Jackson County is closing for construction. Starting Monday, the Lavaca Navidad River Authority will close FM 3131 between FM 1593 and FM 1822 to drill and install instrumentation in the embankment of the dam. Detour routes will be set up via State Highway 111 and State Highway 172. There will be signage to guide drivers through that area. Motorists are advised to expect delays and plan for additional travel time. The road will stay closed through December 20th. Join us Sunday on 25 News Now at 10 for Off-Season Grind, a 25 News Now extra with weekend sports anchor Ray Robinson. With football season winding down, what are athletes doing to stay in peak condition during the off-season? Join Ray as he teams up with a local athlete for a workout. Learn more about the exercises that keep our Crossroads teams in top form. That is Sunday on 25 News Now at 10. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, criminal charges in a blocked Iranian plot to kill President-elect Donald Trump before this week's election. Plus, President-elect Trump is moving swiftly to fill top posts in his new administration.
Here's a look at what you can expect on Community Crossroads. We hear from the Victoria Animal Services, the Salvation Army of Victoria. We hear from Madison O'Hara and theater students from St. Joseph High School.
I think one of the highlights we can look forward to is the music and especially our horse. Our horses. Horses, we have two.
That, and we do a couple of stunts in it, so those are exciting.
Welcome back. The Justice Department announces charges against 3 people in a thwarted Iranian plot to kill Donald Trump before the election. Prosecutors say Iranian officials last month asked Fahad Shakeri, one of the men charged, to focus on surveilling and assassinating Trump. Shakeri is still at large in Iran. The newly disclosed plot is believed to mark the latest alleged Iranian government attempt on Trump's life. The 2 other people charged are American citizens. They were arrested in New York, accused of helping Iran spy on a separate U.S. citizen of Iranian origin. U.S. officials have repeatedly warned Iran may try to kill Trump or his former advisors in retaliation for a 2020 drone strike that Trump ordered as president. That strike killed a top Iranian general. President-elect Donald Trump taking more calls from world leaders. Trump today speaking with the Mexican president. Sheinbaum says that Trump raised the issue of the border security and also telling Trump that there will be time to talk about it. ABC's Perry Russum is in Washington.
Today, President-elect Trump denying reports he plans to sell his social media platform Truth Social. Trump writing online he has no intention of selling, calling for anyone who has spread what he calls fake rumors to be investigated. Trump has been relatively silent since his win, working on building his cabinet and speaking with world leaders, including Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Multiple sources tell ABC News Elon Musk joined that call with Zelensky, raising questions about how much influence Musk will have in Trump's administration.
Susie likes to stay sort of in the back, let me tell you.
So far, Trump has announced Susan Wiles as his chief of staff. Multiple sources tell ABC News Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is the leading candidate for U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. She has been one of Trump's top defenders in Congress.
The failed leadership of Kamala Harris and far-left Democrat policies have put our nation and the American people at risk.
Republicans are projected to have a firm control of the Senate, and that will be crucial in helping Trump approve his administration. In Pennsylvania, Republican David McCormick speaking today as he leads the race over the incumbent Democrat.
There's a mandate for change, and so that's where my attention starts today.
Today, special counsel Jack Smith filed a motion tied to Trump's election interference case, asking to pause all upcoming deadlines, the judge granting that request. Smith and the DOJ have been in talks to wind down their cases against Trump. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Hurricane Rafael could become the first major hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico to not make landfall in the U.S. or Mexico. This morning, Rafael intensified back to a major hurricane, then dropped back down to Category 2. Its forecast track doesn't show a landfall in either the U.S. or Mexico, at least through early next week, maybe not at all. Rafael is expected to come to a crawl over the open Gulf this weekend. All of the more than 100 storms that have reached major hurricane strength in the Gulf of Mexico since 1851 made landfall in either the U.S. or Mexico as a hurricane.
Coming up, we'll give you the latest coordinates and strength of the hurricane. Right now, we're at 76 degrees. Fairly nice evening. Football Friday night, but it was a little warm this afternoon. Got up to 91. We're supposed to be about 76. We actually set a record today. We'll take a look at what's happening for the weekend and also what's happening in the tropics. It's coming up after this.
I am so excited to host the CMA Awards again.
Nashville, here we go.
Hang tight, honey, got a pocket full of money and I'm headed straight home to you.
Lady, what are you doing here?
I'm hosting the CMA Awards with y'all.
Country music's biggest night is almost here. Join us for all the excitement live from Nashville. It's the CMA Awards right here on KAVU ABC 25.
Y'all ready to do this?
I can pull off bell bottoms.
Sure you can, buddy.
Well, good evening, everyone. Yes, this afternoon we started seeing these big storms fire up in North Texas. You can see parts of the area up there are under a tornado watch for tonight. The tail end of the front, however, is just about to move through San Antonio, and it doesn't have any rain associated with it. So our chances of getting anything down here are very, very slim. That's where the big stuff is occurring, and we don't have to worry about it because it's going to stay up there. But you can see here in our future tracker that the line will come from San Antonio down I-10. It'll turn down at the Buc-ee's and it'll go down to Cuero, and then it'll come through our area with just a few little showers about midnight, maybe 3 in the morning. That's about it. And then it passes through our area. It goes out offshore. We clear up very nicely early on Saturday and have a pretty good looking day. North wind and temperatures only about 78, 80 degrees. And the frontal system goes out into the Gulf of Mexico to do what? To do battle with Tropical Storm Rafael, and the cold front is going to win. As you can see right about here, Rafael gets sheared, then the remnants of it sort of drift down south. So a very interesting situation and development. Courtesy of that cold front, you can see the power of the cold fronts that even a tropical storm, which is yesterday was at a category 2, gets blown to shreds. We're looking at 80 as a high tomorrow. That's a good looking Saturday. Look at that. North Texas in the 70s and 60s, way up in the panhandle. Again, right now, Rafael is at 100 miles an hour. But as you can see, it's going to travel to the west, and you can see a little bit of shear right about there, right about there. You can sort of see how the winds are going in an opposite direction. So the storm is expected to decrease in intensity, fall apart, and then drift down to the south. So yes, but then again, Rafael has set all kinds of records. Strongest storm in November, storm that doesn't hit the Gulf states. And so it's interesting. Anyway, we'll talk about your weekend. Looking pretty good in Port Lavaca. Maybe a few clouds left over in the morning hours, but the northerly wind will make it very comfortable. High of about 80 degrees. In Cuero, you'll get up to about 80 as well. You'll have pretty good sun for the rest of the day. The weekend is looking very nice. So the frontal system comes through overnight. Tomorrow, northerly winds, temperatures, and humidity is much more reasonable as opposed to 91. But the only bad part about this picture, I don't know if you can tell, there's no rain for the next 7 days. There is a cool front coming in on Wednesday of next week. That's your 7-day forecast. I want to remind everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Shawna.
All right, thanks a lot, Mac. Well, now we're going to send it over to Max Williams, who, I mean, it's Friday, so football, right?
You know where I'll be, Shawna, right? Again, football Friday night here. Of course, again, the last week here of the regular season, a big one between the Yoakum Bulldogs and the Hallettsville Brahmas. Battle for playoff seeding. I'll talk about this game coming up in sports.
If you have a question for Madison, just ask. Email her at the email on your screen or give her a call at 361-580-6558.
All right, we officially made it to the last week here of the regular season. We got a huge matchup here for district title implications between the Calhoun Sand Crabs and the Bay City Black Cats. Both of these teams heading this matchup again 5-0 in district play. Both of these teams are looking to win the district title here again. Bay City won it last year, and so for the Sand Crabs, head coach Richard Whittaker says they just need to again focus on everything and see if they get a big win here tonight for the title.
Well, they got a really good football team. They have a lot of talent, a lot of speed, and certainly present a lot of problems on the field. So we're just excited about the opportunity. It's a great opportunity. I know our community is going to be excited. I'm sure it'll be a big crowd, and what a great moment. Come down to the last game of the year for the district title, and those games are always fun. So hopefully we'll show up and play well and give ourselves a good chance.
Now, head coach Richard Whittaker and the Sand Crabs, again, like I mentioned, they want to win the district title and get the #1 seed there in the playoffs in their district. Now, over to another big game with playoff seedings on the line. This is between the Yoakum Bulldogs and the Hallettsville Brahmas. And Hallettsville, both these teams heading this game 1 and 2 in district play. One of them will get the #3 seed in the district, and one will get the #4 seed. And sports reporter Zach Brown is live out there in Hallettsville again to see this matchup. And Zach, how is both teams looking into this game here tonight?
Yeah, thanks, Max. We knew at the beginning of this year that this game would be an important seeding matchup. Hallettsville and Yoakum in one of the toughest districts in the state, going against Columbus and Hitchcock. But because each of these teams are fighting for that 3rd and 4th seed, their playoff bracket gets a whole lot tougher because they will enter the postseason as a lower seed, playing the higher seeded competition. But whoever can win this Lavaca County showdown stands a fair shot of competing in the first round, which begins next week. Whoever loses this game will likely be playing the Franklin Lions, and Franklin is a team that is always in the mix for a title. They have actually knocked out Edna in each of the last 2 years. Yoakum will try to get a big road victory to Brahmas, fresh off a 42-12 loss to Columbus. Look to get back in the win column. Kickoff for this one just 30 minutes away. We'll have highlights tonight on Crossroads Football Live after the 10 p.m. show. Reporting live from Hallettsville, Zach Brown, KVU TV 25, News Now Sports.
All right, Zach, and now to another game that's got a big implication for the playoffs. Victoria West, they play at home versus Veterans Memorial here tonight in Memorial Stadium. West is, again, they're hoping to get big contributions from quarterback Dominic Martinez and wide receiver Tristan Menard. They're going to have to be big factors, again, for Victoria West. They need to win this game in order to make the playoffs. If not, they will not make the playoffs. So huge game for the West Warriors tonight. Now some volleyball scores from yesterday here. Again, the Goliad Tigers, they won in 3 sets versus the Marion Bulldogs. The Tigers, they're going to be back in action Tuesday night versus the London Pirates. That game will be at George West High School. A time is still be determined for that game. And also the Calhoun Sand Crabs, they won last night as well versus Toulouse Midway Warriors. Again, that was again in 4 sets. Again, they will play the Davenport Wolves. That game will be on Tuesday night at Cuero High School. It's supposed to saying they're going to start 7:30 p.m. It might get pushed back because there is a game before at Cuero High School that night. And a busy night here in sports, Shawna. I can't wait for it here. Again, we got week 11 here of football coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun here tonight for the last week of the regular season.
All right, definitely an exciting night. We're back in a moment. Adorable giant panda cubs caught on camera wrestling with each other. We'll take a look at the video. And finally, take a look. This lighthearted scene of two giant panda cubs playfully wrestling with each other has been captured on camera in China. The Star Giant Panda Nursery House witnessed a panda baby boom between July and September of this year. So most of this year's newborn cubs are only a few months old. The research base is a world-renowned institute for the conservation of giant pandas. The base is famous for its work in protecting and breeding giant pandas, red pandas, and other endangered wild animals exclusive to China. Look at it, she's carrying like, I'm done with you.
You're going to time out.
Yes. They also are known for their educational outreach programs, but it's also become a major tourist attraction. You can actually go out there and watch the pandas play around. And
can you imagine an angry panda? No, right?
No.
They're just cute.
They're fluffy, they're funny because they're clumsy.
And they get big sad eyes like that. They're just amazing. Yeah. So apparently they do like to horse around, though. They like to panda around. Yes. That's what they like to do. All right, folks, a weak front will come in tonight. Tomorrow we'll get a north wind. It'll be a little cooler and a little drier. And I think you're going to like your Saturday and Sunday combination.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. Well, be sure to join us at 10 and then stay tuned for CFL tonight.